let's do a review here. Ooh, that was a big shock. Did you hear that?
I did.
Do you ever get shocked on your sailboat all day on those dry days?
No, I haven't.
Really? Some days when I'm on my boat, everything I touch zaps me. You get on those dry days, like you put a sail up and then touch something metal and it zaps you. All that static of it going up the mast and everything.
Oh.
Or you take a sail down and let it run between your hands or something and touch something and it zaps you. Okay, so what was this mnemonic rhyme?
Overnight. Rooms for sale plus supper.
Okay, and the N stood for?
What's the word? Not under command.
Not under command. What was the definition of not under command?
Mechanical problems, propulsion,
Good.
rudder.
Through some exceptional circumstance. Mechanical problems.
Okay, so exceptional.
Yeah, the definition says, through some exceptional circumstance, she can no longer maneuver as required by the rules, can therefore not stay out of the way of another vessel.
Okay. And then restricted maneuverability, ability to maneuver.
Good. And that one said,
By the vessel's work.
right, the nature of her work. From the nature of her work, she can't stay out of the way of another vessel. And this F,
Fishing.
vessel engaged in fishing. And what was the definition of that one?
Heavy gear that limits maneuverability.
Good. That's the main premise. Apparatus which restricts maneuverability. And in the definition, they list 3 things that restrict maneuverability, that are gear that restrict maneuverability.
Trawling nets.
Yep. Nets, lines, trawls. Right? And trawls and trolls. Way different.
Yeah, definitely.
One of my students, he said he caught 350,000 pounds of salmon in one net.
You're kidding. That's amazing. He must have been out every day.
Yeah, and that would restrict maneuverability, wouldn't it? He said it almost capsized him once.
Really?
And it ran him aground once. They were in the seine boats, the Perseine boats.
Oh.
So they have a big net, and then they put a dinghy in the water. What do they call it? A skiff. Call it a skiff. Put a skiff in the water, make a big circle. Or he said they had a helicopter even. Helicopter would spot the salmon. And the salmon run along the shoreline at a certain depth, and then they run into rivers. So the helicopter tells them where they are. They get there. Their skiff puts down the net and makes a circle, and the salmon hit that net and start to do a circle, and then they purse the bottom and they bring it in. And they have a whole school of salmon.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think those fisheries, have you ever seen that on the Discovery Channel? The Perseine boats?
No.
They have a fleet of them, and they open the fisheries for like 38 minutes.
That's
and then close them. And they catch like 4 million pounds of fish.
Wow.
With the whole fleet of boats. Herring and stuff like that.
Unreal.
Pretty cool. Apparatus which restricts maneuverability.
Sail.
Sail. Provided that if fitted with propelling machinery, it's not being used. So that means, what does that mean about a vessel to be classified as a sailboat? You have to do what?
You have to maneuver on a sail.
Yeah, just under sail.
Just under sail.
You have to be under sail. Under sail only. And the P.
Power.
Power. What's that broad definition of a power-driven vessel?
Any vessel under mechanical propulsion.
Yep. Propelled by machinery. And the S.
Seaplane.
Seaplane. What do seaplanes do in general?
Do in general.
Yeah, in general, seaplanes,
Land.
yeah, they stay well clear.
Oh, yeah.
In general. When navigating on the water, they stay well clear of everybody.
Right.
But if there's situations where risk of collision does exist, they abide by the rules. So in general, so well clear. What are the, and this, oh, what does this stand for?
Overtaken.
Good. Overtaken. What are the day shapes for not under command?
I gotta look. 2 balls.
Ball over ball. And the day shape for restricted?
Ball and diamond. Ball, no.
Close. Ball, diamond. And then
Ball.
ball, diamond, ball. And fishing.
2 triangles, apexes together.
Good. And if you have gear extending out horizontally over 150 meters?
You have two apexes on the side that the nets are on.
Close. Thumbs up to fishermen.
Okay.
They're
1
gear.
triangle.
And a sailing vessel also being propelled?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. This is a machine. Good. Okay, and how about a vessel at anchor? What's the day shape?
The ball.
And a vessel aground?
3 balls.
3 balls. And how about towing? Towing astern greater than 200 meters.
Diamond.
Diamond. And how about a mine clearance vessel?
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Remember we went out and looked at the flagpole?
Those were lights, though. You have the 3 green lights.
Mm-hmm. Their day shape is similar.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. Their day shape. Like this.
Oh, 3 balls?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should remember that.
What if you have a ram vessel at anchor? What day shapes would you put up if you were a ram vessel, a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver due to the nature of her work, at anchor?
Would you put a ball above the ID?
Yes.
So it'll be a. Okay, so they don't have to be above each other. You just
Right.
need both symbols.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a dredge.
Oh, I gotta look that one up.
So it,
Well, dredge is the ball, diamond, ball, restricted.
ball, diamond, ball. Okay, good.
Okay,
That
and then on the dredge side, you have 2 diamonds. No, you have 2 balls.
Good. Where an obstruction, the side that's obstructed, 2 balls.
And the clear side is 2 diamonds.
Good. Okay, good. Now, not in a conveyance vessel. What ID lights does it have?
3 red lights.
Constrained by draft has 3 red lights.
Ah,
Constrained.
so then a restricted ability to maneuver would be 2 red lights.
Red restricted. So, not under command. Red over red.
Oh, captain's making bread.
My captain is dead.
Oh, dead.
Red over red, my captain is dead. And that's, some people take it very literally. It's not really that literal. It's just saying, it's not saying your captain's dead or your captain's not aboard. It's just saying you're broke down. You're having a mechanical malfunction. You're having some exceptional circumstance that's not allowing you to abide by the rules.
Your captain's wishing he was dead.
Right. Like that guy in Italy. Yeah, whoops. 2 miles off course.
Yeah.
You have a vessel that's like 1,200 feet long. Why would you be up by the beach? I mean,
Yeah.
I could see if you're in like a sunfish or a day sailor, you want to cruise by the beach and say hello, but
Plus he
cruise
falls
ship.
off the deck, helping passengers off, and just happens to fall on a life raft. A
Is-
lifeboat.
is that what
Didn't even get
happened?
wet.
That is wild.
It is.
When it happened, I was teaching a class in New York,
Oh, you kidding?
watching it. I was the first one to comment on one of the news articles. Okay, so red over red, my captain is dead, my vessel's not under command through some exceptional circumstances. Right?
Right.
What about, what are the lights for a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver due to the nature of her work?
Red, white, red.
Red, white, red, captain making bread. And a vessel trawling,
Green over white.
good, green over white, trawling at night. And what about other forms of fishing?
Red over white.
Red over white, other forms of fishing at night. And if your gear's out over 150 meters horizontally, what color light?
And I don't remember. White light
A white all around light.
on the side of the restriction.
Good. And what about a vessel under sail? They may run these lights at their masthead.
Red over green.
Red over green, I'm a sailing machine. But they cannot run red over green at the masthead if they do what with their side lights and stern light?
The tricolor.
If they combine them with their side lights and stern light. Good. And a tricolor can only be run by a vessel under, a sailing vessel under
20 meters.
20 meters. What color is anchor light?
All around white.
All around white. At what length do you get a second anchor light?
50 meters.
At 50 meters. And they're at different heights, right? Where's the high one?
Bow.
In the bow. And the low one?
Stern.
In the stern. If you're aground, what lights?
3 red lights.
Red, 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 constrained by red.
Oh,
Aground. Diagram 44.
oh, 2 red, and then your anchoring lights.
Right, 1 or 2 whites and 2 reds. Shallow water ahead. How about mine clearing? What color? How do you Yeah, you said this one earlier. What color lights does a mine clearance vessel have?
Green lights.
Green, green, green. In the same pattern. Green, green, green. Danger extreme. Okay, how about this ram vessel? How would we light this up? The ID portion. This portion.
Well, the idea is red, white, red.
Red, white, red. Captain making bread.
And then a white all
Then
around.
anchor. Okay, how about the dredge?
Well, the idea is red, white, red.
Red, white, red. Captain making bread.
And then on the dredge side, obstruction side, 2 reds.
Red over red, good.
And the clear side is white over white? No, green over green.
Green over green. Good. Excellent.
Wow. I need to do some more studying. It doesn't come quickly.
Yeah, we'll go through this. By the end of today, we'll go through this again. Let's look at. Let's keep going with lights. Let's look at tugs and tows. Let's look at towing a stern. So we have 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and 4 in a row. And these, what are these referring to? 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row.
Size of the tug and tow.
Right, the size of the tug and the tow. And what lights are they referring to? Masthead lights.
Yes. So the white lights were 225 degrees.
Good. So here's 2 in a row, a tug and a tow. How long is the tug and how long is the tow?
50 meters
Less than 50 meters
and less than 200 meters.
and less than 200 meters. So how many masthead lights does it have?
2.
2. 2 in a row. And then what does it have in the stern?
Yellow over white.
Good. Yellow over white, towing a stern at night. Okay, let's look at 3 in a row. How long is the tug and how long is the tow?
Tug less than 50 meters.
Less than 50 meters, and the tow?
Greater than 200.
Greater than 200 meters. So what does that mean about?
You need a diamond.
We need a diamond shape where it can best be seen. And how many masthead lights?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3 in a row. And in the stern?
Tow and stern light. Yellow over white.
Good. A tow light over a stern light. Also. Yellow over white, towing a stern at night. 4 in a row.
Big tug.
Big tug, big tow.
Greater than 50 meters.
Greater than 50 meters, and the tow?
Greater than 200.
Greater than 200 meters. So we need
Diamonds.
a diamond, because we're over 200, and
4 mastheads.
4 masthead lights. 3 in a row, forward, and a bath oven higher than the forward 3. A 4th.
Okay.
So when this vessel comes right at you,
It looks like 4 in a row.
looks like 4 in a row. We have 1, 2, 3, and a bath oven higher than 4. And when she turns off to one side, we have 1, 2, 3, a bath oven higher than the 4.
Mhm.
Good. And then they all get side lights, right?
Right.
Side lights, side lights, side lights, side lights, side lights, side lights, stern light, stern light, stern light. Oh, and we all get yellow over white, towing a stern at night. Yellow over white, towing a stern at night. Good.
Okay. I gotta remember 4 in a row, the aft mast.
Yeah. Because he's greater than 50 meters. So 3 in a row means you're towing over 200 meters astern. Second masthead, abaft of, and
Abaft and higher
good.
means big tow.
Good. Let's look at. Oh, is your phone dying? Is that my phone dying?
I think that's your phone.
Uh-oh.
That's weird. Today I have full reception.
I was picking up. My phone was telling me the weather in Manton, Michigan, across the lake.
Huh.
It's so weird if I call someone right here and then I walk over to the windows in that other room,
Yeah.
it'll drop my call and pick up another tower, and I'll have to call the people back.
Huh.
This whole area right on the border of Wisconsin.
Well, now I'm down to 1 bar and I haven't even moved.
Right. It's just
Weird.
Okay. So let's look at how else do we tow? We can tow astern, that's what everybody thinks of towing.
Right.
Or we can push ahead, right?
Right.
Or tow
Alongside.
alongside. And then this is page 62 and 63, and these are divided into inland and internation. Oh. And we have pushing ahead, and towing alongside. Let's draw these. Pushing ahead or towing alongside. Ooh, that's a weird tow. That's alright. Okay. What do these have in common? What lights do each one of these have in common?
Well, they have the side lights
Good.
and the tug lights.
Meaning by tug lights.
2 in a row.
2 in a row. Good. So let's put that on all these. They all have 2 in a row for a tug and a tow.
And that's 2 regardless of size, too.
Right. Side lights, red, green. Red port wine goes down the throat. That is a saying, that's an old saying. So port wine is red.
Mm-hmm.
And when they say it goes down the throat, the part of a gaff rig schooner that attaches to the mast is called the throat.
Oh, that's right.
And it's on the port side.
Okay.
Traditionally, they're rigged on the port side.
Your schooner experience is showing off.
Look out. It was a lot. It was a really good experience to go on that schooner when I was younger. I think I was 12 and 13 and a little bit when I was 14. Put 100 days on one and it just,
Oh, wow.
it all stuck in there, you know? Maybe not right here. Okay. How about these two good? Now what is different about these? Where are there more lights?
Well, inland has the yellow special flashing
Very good.
in the bow.
Special flashing in the bow. How often does it flash?
120? Oh, 50 to 70. 120 is flashing, right?
Right.
So special flashing is slower, 50 to
Right.
70.
And you find a flashing light on a hovercraft in non-displacement mode.
Okay.
Okay, good. Where else are there yellow lights on these inland?
On the tugs, there's 2 yellow towing lights on the stern.
Yellow over yellow, I'm a pushing fellow. Okay.
Now, international,
Oh, right here. Okay, now international.
they have 2 yellow towing lights too, don't they? No, they just have white stern lights.
Good. Just white stern lights all around.
And that'd be on the barges too.
Correct.
Well, if you're alongside,
If you're alongside.
right,
Because if you're pushing ahead,
you'd be blinded.
you'd be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Good. I think we cover it. And again, on page 62 and 63, there they are, all laid out for you. Oh, there's an interesting question that you end up coming across somewhere along the line that says, who can run restricted in their ability to maneuver lights? A vessel pushing ahead, a vessel towing alongside, a vessel towing astern, or all of the above?
Restricted ability to maneuver
Mm-hmm.
and a towing vessel. I'll say none of the above. The first one was towing ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was alongside.
And the last one was towing astern.
I thought yesterday we said, unless there was other circumstances, tugs are under normal ability to maneuver.
Right, unless they're classified as a tug and a tow, which are severely restricted to deviate from their course.
Right.
So, all of these vessels could run red, white, red, captain making bread. Vessel restricted in their ability to maneuver due to the nature of their work. Right? They just have to fit that definition. So if this guy is severely restricted in his ability to deviate from his course,
Okay. So they may or may not be restricted ability to maneuver.
right?
All depends on what they're doing.
Right, so these three vessels, right? If it said, a vessel is pushing ahead on open water, it's a power-driven vessel.
Right.
Or, a vessel pushing ahead is severely restricted in its ability to deviate from its course. That fits the definition. Or a vessel being pushed ahead and a vessel pushing ahead are severely restricted to deviate from
So
their
they have to
course.
state that for it to be a requirement.
Right. So if you come along across a question that says, which one of these vessels could run that? Or which one of these vessels could sound a danger signal?
Okay, well, any vessel could be restricted ability to maneuver.
Right. They just have to be doing the right work. Good.
Yeah, that is a tricky question.
Right, because you start to think and you're like, well, we didn't learn about a restricted vessel pushing ahead, a restricted tug and tow pushing ahead,
Yeah,
but it's possible
it's possible.
to be severely restricted to deviate from your course due to the nature of your work. Good. Good.
Now, general question.
Mm-hmm.
A tug getting close to the port and is maneuvering in a harbor, for example,
Mm-hmm.
would it put up the REM lights or day signals? Or just get on channel 16 and do a security?
Right, security. My ETA at this aid to navigation or this hazard to navigation. is such that I wouldn't want respond back to me if you have the same ETA, because I'm the only one that can fit through there.
Right.
I have to skid through there.
Okay.
So that's an excellent question. A vessel may go from towing on open water and start to go into a restricted water and say, listen, out there, I could turn. I had I had 1,000 miles to turn. Here, I can't turn. I can hardly slow down because I'll get run over by my tow. So now I am severely restricted to deviate from my course. That's a very good point.
Okay.
And so he could
You
run.
could post the
Yeah.
day 7 of the night.
Mm-hmm. As long as he fits that definition.
Okay.
And I think when it comes to inland tugs, I've heard some people that have quite a bit of experience on the Mississippi say, and just here in Chicago, a little bit inland on the river system, said when they go down, most of the barges go from point A to point B and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So they really know that section of water. And they talk to each other and they all know each other. So they kind of have codes of conduct. Some people can maneuver better and some people can't maneuver as well, and they talk to each other. Well, I'm really heavy this week with ingots and I need my room. So, and based on that, I'm guessing that, I guess I'm kind of assuming some of these tugs and tows always have their lights on and some almost never do. Right? They're restricted depending on how long they are and what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're all working, they all have the option of putting that up there.
Okay. How about another cup of coffee?
Yeah,
Take a sip.
that sounds great. So let's define all these lights. I think we have them down pretty well, but we'll look at them. Okay. Lights. Let's look at side lights. How many degrees do side lights cover?
20 dead ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam,
Good.
which should be, what, 112.5?
Right, 112.5 degrees. And from right ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam. And on the port side, what color is a side light?
Red,
Red. And on the starboard side,
green.
green. Good. From right ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam. That's textbook. Okay, let's look at a stern light.
200 and no, it's 67.5 degrees, not lit.
67.5 degrees from right astern to either side.
Okay,
So total, how many degrees is it?
135.
135 degrees total. And the definition is from shine over the arc of the horizon of 135 degrees and so fixed to show the light from right astern to 67.5 degrees on either side. That's how they define it. Good, and we covered both. From right astern to 67.5 degrees. 67.5 times 2 is 135. They always say and so fixed, they say, it covers the arc of the horizon of 135 degrees, and so fixed as to show the light from right astern to 67.5 degrees on either side.
Wow.
That's just the verbiage,
Yeah.
right? Okay, let's look at a masthead light. Before we look at a masthead light, let's look at a light very similar to a stern light. It has the same characteristics, except it's yellow. What light is that?
Tow light.
Towing light. Good. Same characteristics as a stern light, except it's yellow.
And those could be on a mast at the stern of the vessel too, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the stern of a tug might have a mast, and it'll have a tow light in a vertical line above a stern light. Yellow over white, towing a stern at night. And again, this is from the back. This is the stern of the vessel.
There's no restriction on height, is there?
That's a funny question. Because I don't know how high would you want to put it, but there's no written restriction on the height of your towing light and your stern light in the book.
Now, does it have to be above, if you're towing a stern, does it have to be above the barges you're towing?
The book says a towing light in a vertical line above a stern light. So they need to be on, you can't have one over here and one over here.
Right.
They have to be in the same vertical alignment. And there's no restriction. It doesn't say at least 3.5 meters high and not less than 1 meter high. And then,
So it's open then.
right.
So if you have a barge towing behind you that's loaded up high with containers, you don't have to see it astern of the barge because the barge has a stern light. It's its own stern light.
That's a really good question. And I think you make a good point because the barge has its own stern light.
Right.
And once you get off to the side, you'll see the
tug.
You'll see the tug. But I wouldn't doubt that in the annexes, there is a portion that says your towing light and your stern light need to be visible within these parameters.
Okay.
So maybe if you have a short barge or a tall barge, it might change. That's a really good question.
Well, I was thinking about pleasure boats. Most of them are mounted low in the transom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're towing something behind it, you're not going to be able to see that.
Right.
Stern light.
Yeah, and there's an exception for that in the rules. It says if you need to tow someone in need of assistance or in distress, if it's not practicable for you to run the lights defined by Rule 24 towing, then you don't have to. Just you can tow the person in, but you can't make a business out of it.
Right. And it only has to be an emergency.
Right. Okay. Towing light, stern light. Let's look at masthead light. Masthead light. Where does that shine?
Forward 225 degrees.
Forward 225 degrees.
Which is 22.5 degrees abaft the beam.
On each side. Good. So it says, the definition says, a masthead light is a white light that shines over the arc of the horizon of 225 degrees and so fixed as to show the light from right ahead to 22.5 degrees on either side. So good, we got that covered. They like to use that 22.5 and it just helps them define the arc that it covers, which direction that arc covers. Because they could say, covers an arc of 125 degrees or 225 degrees, but where? Off to the side?
Yeah. Right.
But it's from right ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam. Now they narrowed in on it. Okay, and then we have two more. Special flashing. I think we have two more. Special flashing. This one. What do we know about a special flashing light?
50 to 70 times a minute.
Flashes 50 to 70 times per minute.
It's yellow.
It's yellow.
And it's in the bow, and it must be seen through 225 degrees.
Good. So as much as 225 degrees and as little as 180 degrees. This is the one light where they kept in the old light patterns. The old light patterns, we had 90-degree side lights and 180-degree stern light. And for some reason, this special flasher, it says at least 180 from right ahead to at least the beam and not more than 22.5 degrees abaft the beam.
Oh,
They allow 180
degrees. Oh, I missed that.
And it makes the definition extra long. It's Rule 21. It's Rule 21. A special flashing light means a yellow light flashing at intervals at a frequency of 50 to 70 flashes per minute, places far forward and is nearly as practicable on the 4.5 center line of the toe, and showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of not less than 180 degrees nor more than 225 degrees, and so fixed as to show the light from right ahead to a beam and no more than 22.5 degrees abaft the beam on either side of the vessel.
Okay.
One thing I could think of, if you have a tall barge and you mounted it in front of the barge, it would have no choice but to cover only 180. But that's kind of, you don't have to mount it at the bow. Most likely it's going to be on top. That's one of the lights I really wonder about. Why did they keep that 180 degrees?
That's weird. Now, the old side lights used to be 180 degrees?
They used to be 90.
Oh, 90, right.
Yeah, so they'd look like...
Right.
And then a stern light. But I mean, think about overtaking situations. If you're not sure whether you're crossing, if you're a little bit abaft the beam, you're in an overtaking situation all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because the definition at night, you could see the stern light, but neither of your side lights. Well, now we're in pretty much in a crossing situation, and we can only see the stern. Okay, so special flashing light, 50 to 70 times. It's yellow. It covers at least 180, not more than 225. And then we have a flashing light. Flashing. And this one is how often? Does it?
120 to 150, is it?
120.
120.
And it's, what color is it?
Yellow.
Yellow.
And it's all around.
Yeah. It's all around. They don't really... In the definition, it's a short definition. It just says, flashing light means a light flashing at regular intervals at a frequency of 120 flashes or more per minute. They don't define its color. They don't define its arc of visibility.
So it could be a white light then?
Yeah. A distress signal for inland rules is a high intensity white light flashing at 120 flashes per minute.
So a flashing light is used only on a seaplane and a hovercraft in non-displacement mode.
Yeah, hovercraft in non-displacement mode. And we'll look at dredge pipelines that have a flashing yellow light visible all around the horizon.
Okay.
Good. So let's modify this. A flashing light flashes 120 times a minute. That's what the definition says. Sometimes the rules are so specific, and other times that's a vague definition. I mean, how big is the light? How long can you see it from? What color is it? Where is it mounted? What arc of the horizon does it cover? All these things they defined in the other's lights, they left out of flashing. So we cover masthead light, side lights, stern light, towing light, all-round light. Let's look at an all-round light. Is it all round? All round. All round light. An all round light. These are our ID lights. Then it says, means a light showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of 360 degrees. It's a 360 degree light. And it might be white, yellow, red, green, black. No. Oh, there it went.
Uh-oh, it's falling apart.
My first page is time for a new book. I can't have this. It was hanging on by a thread. Good. These are the definition of lights. Look at rules 13, 14, and 15. Overtaking, head-on, and crossing. Whoops. Overtaking. It's rule 13. So we have two vessels. And Rule 13 says, notwithstanding anything contained in Rules 4 through 18, no one impedes the overtaken vessel. Right? So, most likely we'll alter course to starboard and pass over here and alter course to port when we're finally passed and clear. Any subsequent change in bearing between the two vessels won't make this into a crossing situation. There's no getting up here and saying, alright, crossing on your starboard, give way. Nope. Until you're finally passed and clear. So if we can't tell, let's define an overtaking situation first. Coming up on a vessel more than 22.5 degrees abaft the beam. That is, at night you'd only see the stern light of that vessel, but neither of her side lights. Right? And if you're not sure whether it's an overtaking or a crossing situation, what do we assume?
Overtaking.
Overtaking. So, head-on situation. Rule 14. The very first part of a head-on situation says what? It says, what do we do in a head-on situation?
Signal.
Signal. And so standard operating procedure is
Passport to port.
passport to port, alter course to starboard, passport to port. What's the maneuvering signal you would sound to alter course to starboard so you passport to port?
One short blast.
One short. Port to port. Probably just like
Out of focus.
out of focus. There. We gained our focus. Now we're focused. If we can't tell whether it's a head-on situation or a crossing situation, what do we assume?
We assume it's head on.
Assume it's head-on. Let's get a crossing situation. Crossing. So vessel 1, vessel 2. Which vessel is the stand-on vessel in a crossing situation?
Vessel 2.
Vessel 2 is the stand-on. And vessel 1 is the give-way. Vessel 1 needs to avoid crossing ahead of vessel 2, right? If the circumstances of the case admit. And the stand-on vessel does what?
Maintain course and speed.
Yep, maintain course and speed. The stand-on vessel in a crossing situation should avoid altering course how?
To port.
Avoid altering course to port for a vessel. Yeah. Which they say the stand-on vessel in a crossing situation shouldn't alter course to port. Because the stand-on vessel in a crossing situation is to starboard, they'll get in a head-on collision. Good. Let's look at action by the give-way vessel and action by the stand-on vessel. It's the next rules in this. 16 and 17. Whoa. All right, so what's the action by a give-way vessel? What do you do if you're a give-way vessel?
Avoid the stand-on vessel.
Right, stay out of the way. Where one of two vessels is to give way, the give-way vessel they give way, they stay out of the way. They alter course and speed, they stay out of the way, avoid crossing ahead in a crossing situation. But the give-way, the stand-on vessel, when does she take action?
When it's apparent that the give-way vessel is not doing it in time to avoid collision.
Good. Very good. It says, where one of two vessels is to keep out of the way, the other shall keep her course and speed. The latter vessel may, however, take action to avoid collision by her maneuver alone as soon as it becomes apparent to her that the vessel required to keep out of the way is not taking appropriate action in compliance with these rules. When from any cause, the vessel required to keep her course and speed finds herself so close that collision cannot be avoided by action of the give-way vessel alone, she shall take such action as will best aid to avoid collision. A power-driven vessel which takes action in a crossing situation in accordance with subparagraph A2 of this rule to avoid collision with another power-driven vessel shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, not alter course to port for a vessel on her own port side. We just said that. This rule does not relieve the give-way vessel of her obligation to keep out of the way. Good. Good. So now that brings us to Rule 18, which is responsibilities between vessels. And we say it covers overnight rooms or sail plus supper. Here's the responsibilities between vessels, right? A power-driven vessel gives way to everyone above it. Not under command, restricted, fishing, sailing. Sailing gives way to not under command, restricted, and fishing. Fishing gives way to not under command and restricted. And in general, seaplanes stay well clear. They have very few rights. It's a plane, not a boat. But if risk of collision exists, they abide by the rules.
Okay.
Good, and we looked at conduct of vessels and restricted visibility. Rule 19. Let's look at Rule 20. I'm going to read Rule 20. Rule 20, application. This is Part C, lights and shapes. Rule 20, application. Rules in this part shall be complied with in all weathers. The rules concerning lights shall be complied with from sunset to sunrise, and during such times no other lights shall be exhibited, except such lights as cannot be mistaken for lights specified in these rules or do not impair their visibility or distinctive character, or interfere with the keeping of a proper lookout. The lights prescribed by these rules shall, if carried, also be exhibited from sunrise to sunset in restricted visibility, and may be exhibited in all other circumstances when deemed necessary. The rules concerning shapes shall be complied with by day. The lights and shapes specified in these rules shall comply with the provisions of Annex 1 to these rules. Do you remember the annexes? We had a mnemonic rhyme for the annexes.
I remember screen.
Okay.
It was at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
There was fear.
We said, see, fun, hear, screw.
Okay, scream and fear are the same.
Screams. So this said Annex 1, Annex 2, Annex 3, and Annex 4. These are visual signals. Fun is fishing in close proximity. Here, audible signals. Audible. Audio. I don't know. Screams, distress signals. And the annexes go much deeper than this, but this is a rhyme that helps with the basic first 4. These annexes go very in depth. Let me read you a short excerpt from the annexes because you can see how, yeah. This is Annex 1 continued. Anytime you see there's these interlocking S's, they look something like that. These are the CFRs.
Oh, okay.
The Code of Federal Regulations. That's where these annexes are coming from.
So 84.23 is a CFR.
Yeah. I mean, these are going to give you all the decibels for what a gong should sound like, the decibels for what a whistle should sound like, what a bell should sound like, how intense should a light be, how many lumens they are. The boundary of the area for each color are given by indicating the corner coordinates, which are follows. So if you wanted to build a navigational light to specs, you'd go to the annexes.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you wanted to make sure that this light you were using fit the definitions of these lights, let's say you're building a boat, you need to put lights on it, and you didn't want to go buy it from West Marine, you wanted to build it. You could come in here and get all the formulas and all of the coordinates and intensity of light. The minimum luminous intensity of light shall be calculated using the formula I equals 3.43 times 10 to the 6 times T times D squared times K to the negative D. Okay?
Sure.
Cool. So now we're all physicists. So those are the annexes. But sometimes the annexes, we'll read through an annex here pretty soon, page 173, that talks about dredge pipelines that really comes in handy. And we'll look at that. We're going to start going through the all the diagrams, the light diagrams, the situational diagrams. And one of the light diagrams, the very last light diagram, is a dredge with a lighted pipeline, with a break in the pipeline that you pass through, and another light. So it's kind of complicated, but we look at it and we read the annexes, the annex that covers it on page 173, and it says, well, the break in the pipeline should be lighted by red buoys, not with a meter between them and the bottom one as high as the yellows of the pipeline, and just it gets real specific. We'll read over it.
Sure.
My top. All right. What other stuff? You want to take a small break for a sec? Okay. Sound signals. Uh-oh. My marker was probably upside down.
No.
Or right side up, whatever you want to say. Sound signals. Starts on page 115, Part D, Sound and Light Signals. Rule 32, Definitions. The word whistle means any sound signaling appliance capable of producing the prescribed blasts, which complies with specifications in Annex 3 to these rules. The term short blast means a blast of 1 second's duration. The term prolonged blast means a blast of from 4 to 6 seconds durations. Rule 33, equipment for sound signals. A vessel of 12 meters or more in length shall be provided with a whistle and a bell, and a vessel of 100 meters or more in length shall, in addition, be provided with a gong, the tone and sound of which cannot be confused with that of the bell. The whistle, bell, and gong shall comply with the specifications in Annex 3 to these rules. The bell or gong or both may be replaced by other equipment having the same respective sound characteristics, provided that manual sounding of the prescribed signals shall always be possible. A vessel of less than 12 meters in length shall not be obliged to carry the sound signaling appliances prescribed in paragraph A of this rule, but if she does not, she shall be provided with some other means of making an efficient sound signal. So now we're on to Rule 34, Maneuvering and Warning Signals. So, when power-driven vessels are in sight of one another and meeting or crossing at a distance within half a mile of each other, each vessel underway, when maneuvering as authorized or required by these rules, shall indicate that by, this is where we say, one short. What's one short?
Going to starboard.
Alter course to starboard. Two shorts.
Port.
Alter course to port. Three shorts.
Astern.
Astern propulsion. Or reverse. And at least 5 short and rapid blasts.
Danger.
Danger. I don't understand your intentions. Or, I don't think you're taking enough action. I still might hit you. 1 prolonged blast.
Power vessel underway in restricted visibility.
Right. That is true. A power-driven vessel underway, making way in restricted visibility. What does it mean as far as maneuvering and warning signals?
Oh, you're right. Leaving the berth.
Good. Or leaving berth. Or nearing a bend with an intervening obstruction that you can't see around. And as far as inland rules go, if you make this maneuvering a warning signal to another vessel and they agree, they give the same signal back. If you sound 1 prolonged blast when you're nearing a bend with an intervening obstruction and there's someone around the bend that's being obscured by the obstruction, they sound the same thing. Good. Anyone can sound a danger signal.
Okay.
Maneuvering and warning. Now, let's keep going in order. All of these signals may be supplemented with a light. You can't use just a light, but you can supplement these signals with a light.
But they have to be synchronized, correct?
Synchronized.
Yeah.
Right. So at night, if you're giving these, you can do your light too, and they can see your light synchronized. They might be a little off because light travels travels faster than sound. Way faster. Good. Here we go. Okay, and they make distinctions between head-on and overtaking in inland rules. Head-on, the inland rules show intent, and this is international, but it's easier to remember. So head-on, I intend to leave you on my port side when I alter course to starboard. Overtaking, alter course to starboard, I intend to overtake you on your starboard side. Good. Ben, give me a doc. And then here it says, page 119, paragraph H at the very bottom, a vessel that reaches agreement with another vessel in a head-on, crossing, or overtaking situation, as for example by using the radio telephone as prescribed by the Vessel Bridge-to-Bridge Radio Telephone Act, is not obliged to sound the whistle signals prescribed by this rule, but may do so. If agreement is not reached, then whistle signals shall be exchanged in a timely manner and shall prevail. Okay, which brings us to Rule 35, sound signals in restricted visibility. Okay, so we are going to write our mnemonic rhyme again. Over, night, rooms, for, sail, plus, supper. Which one of these vessels sound one prolonged and two short?
Sail.
Yes. Sailing, up to not under command. One prolonged, two short. Which of these four?
Oh, that's right. So any of those.
Right. Not in command. Restricted, whether underway or at anchor. Sailing, fishing, whether underway or at anchor. One prolonged, two short. So when the rule says it, it specifies restricted in fishing as giving one prolonged, two short in restricted visibility, even when at anchor. A tug and tow, they sound. A tug sounds one prolonged, two short also. If practicable, immediately following that, the last man barge sounds one prolonged and how many shorts?
Three.
3. Power-driven vessel. Power-driven vessel, underway, making way, sounds
One prolonged.
one prolonged, underway, making way. And if they're not making way,
Two prolonged.
two prolonged, not making way. All of these vessels are underway, but a power-driven vessel gives a distinction between underway making way and underway not making way. When a pushing vessel and a vessel being pushed ahead are rigidly connected in a composite unit, they shall be regarded as a power-driven vessel and shall give the signals prescribed in paragraphs A or B of this rule. So composite pusher sounds as a power-driven vessel. Okay, so what type of signals are these? These are whistle signals, right?
Right.
For vessels underway. Vessels underway, with one slight exception of underway. Restricted in fishing whether underway or at anchor.
And everyone else at anchor must use the bell.
Bells and gongs. How often are these sounded?
2-minute intervals.
At not more than 2-minute intervals. All right. Let's look at sound signals of vessels at anchor and aground. So what was the definition of underway?
Not anchored, not aground, not attached to any shore structures.
Good. Not at anchor, not made fast to the shore, not aground. We are underway if we fit that definition. So these vessels, these are vessels which do not fit the definition of underway. These are vessels not underway because they are anchored or aground, right? So you just said they make bells and gongs. We make bells and gongs at what intervals?
5-minute intervals.
At not more than 1-minute intervals.
1 minute?
1 minute.
What's 5 minutes?
After
Did you
10
get
minutes.
Oh, okay.
So if we are at anchor and we are less than 100 meters, what is our anchor signal? This is where you got
That's
the 5.
what I got. A bell for 5 seconds.
5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell. And if you are over 100 meters and at anchor, what's the signal?
Rapid ringing plus gong.
Rapid ringing of the bell for 5 seconds in the fore part of the vessel, followed by rapid gonging of the gong in the after part of the vessel for about 5 seconds. What about aground? Very similar here. Aground, less than 100 meters. What do they make?
3 bell strikes, rapid ringing, 3 bell strikes.
3 distinct strokes of the bell, followed by rapid ringing of the bell, followed by 3 distinct strokes of the bell. And over 100 meters aground.
3 distinct, 5 seconds rapid, 3 distincts plus 5 seconds gong.
Good. 3 distinct strokes of the bell, followed by 5 seconds of rapid ringing of the bell, followed by 3 distinct strokes of the bell in the fore part of the vessel, immediately followed by 5 seconds of rapid gonging of the gong in the stern of the vessel. A vessel at anchor and a vessel at ground may, in addition, sound an appropriate whistle signal. What is that whistle signal?
1 short, 1 prolonged, 1 short.
Very good. Namely, 3 blasts in succession. 1 short, 1 prolonged, and 1 short blast. Excellent. I can't think of many other sound signals that we make. Those are sound signals, maneuvering and warning signals, and these are, and then we had sound signals for vessels underway, and these are sound signals for vessels not underway. Good. All right, let's look at the lights of an anchored vessel. and a vessel aground.
I can think of that line.
So, a vessel less than 50 meters at anchor. How are they lighted?
Less than 50 meters, one all-around white.
One all-round white light. Over 50 meters at anchor.
Two all-around white, highest one in the bow.
High white light in the bow, low white light in the stern. And if you are over 100 meters at anchor, how are you lighted?
High in the bow, low in the stern, plus deck lights.
High white light in the bow, low white light in the stern, plus the working lights or equivalent to illuminate her decks. All right, a vessel less than 50 meters aground. How is she lighted?
Two red.
Two red, red over red, and
And the white all around.
a white all around. If she is greater than 50 meters aground, how is she lighted?
Red over red.
Red over red,
High white in the bow.
high white in the bow,
Low white in the
low
stern.
white in the stern. One or two whites and two reds, shallow water ahead.
That was what I was trying to. Two red, two white, shallow water. Like that.
Good. So, inconspicuous or partly submerged vessels or objects being towed. Inconspicuous or partly submerged. See if we can spell it. Inconspicuous.
Don't ask me.
Inconspicuous. Partly submerged. Submerged. Or inconspicuous objects. So, the first one. If it's less than 25 wide and less than 100 long, how do we light it?
White light all around bow and stern.
White light all around to mark its length. Good. If it is greater than 25 meters wide and less than 100 meters long, how do we light it?
Four corners.
Close. We light its length,
Oh, yes. And
And-
then two mid.
its breadth. Provided that if it's multiple objects, they're all lighted as one object. And then if we are greater than 25 meters wide, greater than 100 meters long, how do we light this?
Okay, bow and stern again.
Good.
And then on either side, equally spaced.
Equally spaced. We never go more than 100 meters between our lights that mark the length. We're very concerned with marking the length of this vessel and the breadth of this vessel. Provided that if it is multiple objects, It is all lighted as one big object. And what day shape if you're over 100 meters?
Yeah. What's that called?
Diamond.
Diamond.
Diamond shape where it can best be seen. Good, I think those are the last lights. Partly submerged or inconspicuous object. Okay, let's do a review of the diagram.